சார் முனுசாமி சார்.
ஹலோ
சார், குட் மார்னிங் சார்.
குட் மார்னிங் டாக்டர்.
சார் எஸ் சார்.
டிரைவர் இல்லை இன்னைக்கு, அது ஸோ
நோ ப்ராப்ளம் சார். சார் நீங்க அதான் சொல்லி தான் அனுப்புனேன் சார். இது ஸ்பீக்கர் இன்ட்ரோடியூஸ் பண்ணிட்டு ஒரு 2 மினிட்ஸ் நீங்க ஒரு 1 or 2 மினிட்ஸ் அந்த என்விஸ் கொஞ்சம் இது பண்ணிடுறீங்களா சார்? எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ணிடுறீங்களா சார்?
சரி, சொல்லணுமா?
இல்ல நோ நீங்க பண்றதா இருந்தா சொல்றேன், இது பண்றேன் சார். எப்படி சார் நீங்க
ஜஸ்ட் 1 மினிட் வேணா சொல்றேன்.
ஓகே சார். ஜஸ்ட் அப்படியே இது விட்டுருங்க சார். அப்புறம் நான் பாத்துக்கிறேன் சார் எல்லாத்தையும்.
நான் இருக்கேன், நான் பாத்துக்கிறேன். சொல்லணும், ஐ கேன் ஜாயின்.
ஓகே சார். நான் நான் இன்ட்ரோடியூஸ் பண்ணிட்டு கொடுத்துறேன் சார். நீங்க ஜஸ்ட் ஒரு 1 மினிட்.
ஓகே.
உதய்
அண்ணா.
குட் மார்னிங்.
மார்னிங்.
தம்பி, ப்ரோக்ராம் ஷெட்யூல் வந்து ஹலோ டாக்டர் கருணா வந்து ஆரம்பிக்கிறாரு. அட்மின் அந்த இதை ஜஸ்ட் இது பண்ணிடுவாரு. நான் உங்களை இன்ட்ரோடியூஸ் பண்றேன். ஓகே. இன்ட்ரோடியூஸ் பண்ணதுக்கு அப்புறம் ஒரு 1 மினிட் என்விஸ் பத்தி சார் ப்ரொஃபசர் முனுசாமி சார் சொல்லுவாங்க. அப்புறம் நீங்க உங்ககிட்ட ஹேண்ட் ஓவர் பண்ணிடுற, நீங்க பாத்துக்கலாம். ஓகே.
சார் குட் மார்னிங் சார். உதய் சார், கருணா பேசுறேன் சார். நம்ம இன்னொரு இது வரைக்கும் 29 ரெஜிஸ்டர் ஆயிருக்கு சார். நம்ம இன்னொரு 5 to 10 மினிட்ஸ் வெயிட் பண்ணிட்டு ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணலாமா சார்? மேக்ஸிமம் நம்பர் ஆஃப் பார்ட்டிசிபென்ட்ஸ் ஜாயின் பண்ணதுக்கு அப்புறம்.
ஓகே.
எஸ் சார், தேங்க்யூ சார்.
அந்த ஸ்கிரீனுக்கு எப்படி போறது? அந்த ஸ்கிரீனுக்கு எப்படி போறது? அட்மிட் பண்ணணும்.
சார் செஷன் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணிடலாமா சார்? சார் உதய்
Yes,
சார்.
please. Yeah. Please.
Okay. Dear participants, very good morning to one and all. I welcome you for this webinar on COVID-19 and aeromicrobiologist perspective. Today's speaker is Dr. N.K. Uday Prakash, who is an eminent person in this field of aeromicrobiology. His introduction will be shortly delivered by our ENVIS coordinator, Dr. C. Arulvasu, and a short introduction for this ENVIS center will be delivered by former ENVIS coordinator, Professor N. Munuswamy. I also wish to request the participants to raise their questions in the chat box, and a short discussion shall be held at the end of this completion of this webinar session. At that time, you can raise your questions live. Else, you can also post your questions in the chat box. As the webinar proceeds, a short link will be pasted in the chat box, and the participants are requested to register their attendance through that link, so that we shall provide you a certificate for this webinar. And I also wish to emphasize that participants who compulsory give their attendance in the webinar will only be receiving the certificates, and until and unless no certificates will be issued. So with this, I also once again welcome everybody to this webinar, and I ask Professor Arulvasu sir to take over this webinar session. Sir, Arulvasu sir.
Yes.
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah, Uday?
Yeah, Professor. Yeah, able to hear me.
Yes. Dear participants, welcome and good morning to all. I would like to introduce today's speaker, Dr. Uday Prakash, Associate Professor, Department of Biotechnology, World University, Chennai. He has finished BSc, MSc, MPhil Plant Science in Vivekananda College, Mylapore. PhD in CS in Botany, University of Madras. In the field of research field, aerobiology, the eminent professor, under the guidance of eminent Professor Vittal. And also, after finishing his PhD, he joined as a assistant professor in various colleges like Alpha College, New College, Tech, then lastly working as a associate professor in Wells University, Chennai. He has received more than 10 academic awards, and also has vast experience, PDF experiences in more than 5 years PDF experiences in the field of aerobiology. Academic award in the sense, distinction award in University of Madras, research, junior research fellow, senior research fellow, RE research associate, like that. More than 10 awards were received. He is member in scientific bodies, so more than 12 scientific bodies member. Member in board of studies, more than 5 colleges is served as a board of study member. Then he has completed 5 research projects funded by DST, AICTE, TNSST. Then he has more than 7 patents already declared by the both national and international patents. So, and also applied 5 patents still under the consideration. And also he has organized, conducted various conferences and workshop training program, especially for the students in the field of microbiology and aerobiology. He has delivered more than 44 lectures in various inaugural functions, conferences, other workshop and other things. And also he wrote one books and published in the field of aerobiology. He has published more than 75 publications, both national and international level, about 32 publications in international level, 145 publications in the proceedings and the conference like the other Indian journals. Then served as a electoral board member in 6 reputed journals, and also reviewer in more than 19 journals as a served as reviewer. He has vast experience in the field of aerobiology, and also one of the important researcher in the field of both microbiology as well as aerobiology. So today, every year we are conducting various programs related to the awareness to the people. This year, due to COVID pandemic period, we are in COVID-19 and aerobiologist perspective. With this few brief introduction, I ask Professor Munuswamy to talk about few words about the ENVIS Center. Sir, over to Munuswamy, sir. sir?
Professor Mike needs to be in mute.
Mute நினைக்கிறேன். Sir, Professor Munuswamy, sir? Sir?
Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect.
Sir.
Okay.
So,
So,
please tell about something about the ENVIS Center, sir.
yeah. Good morning to all participants who are participating webinar on COVID-19 Aerobiologist perspective. First, let me thank Dr. Arul Vasu, ENVIS coordinator, Department of Zoology, and Professor Janarthanan, another department, will be joining shortly. They have been doing excellent work for the upliftment of ENVIS programs in the Department of Zoology, University of Madras. And I'm very eager to know about the aerobiologist perspective by the speaker, Dr. N.K. Udaya Prakash, Associate Professor at Wales University. Friends, I'm going to talk to you a few minutes about the ENVIS centers. ENVIS centers centered funded by Ministry of Environment and Forest and Climate Changes. We have in India as many as about 69 ENVIS centers. Now it is called hubs. It is catered the need of it caters the needs of it caters the needs of the awareness of environmental issues. The perspective of ENVIS program in the Department of Zoology is called microorganisms and impact on public health. And this center is making almost all awareness programs throughout the year and financial welfare. And one of the first centers of 69 centers. I'm glad this ENVIS centers with a team of starting from Karnataka and all the members are doing extremely well to create the awareness of the thematic area microorganism impact. So yeah, last week we had one program. Today we are going to have another program on aerobiologist perspective on COVID-19. This ENVIS center is doing wonderful one, and this called the information collecting, collation, and dissemination of information and thematic area. The thematic area assigned to this ENVIS center is called microorganism on impact of alveoli. This team, under the guidance of Dr. Arul, was doing wonderful work and caters the needs of awareness program on all the environmental issues pertaining to the environment in India, particularly in India and global scenario. With these three introductory remarks, I thank once again Dr. Arul Vasu and over to Dr. Arul Vasu for other program session to be started. Thank you all and all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your nice introductions about ENVIS Center. Now, this session hand over to Dr. Uday Prakash. Dr. Uday?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, you can take. I invite you to give the talk about the COVID-19 on aerobiologist perspectives. Yes, Uday.
Thank you. Good morning to every participant right here. My thanks are due to Professor Munuswamy, the founding member of ENVIS University of Madras, Dr. Janarthanan, the head of the Department of Zoology, University of Madras, for hosting such a wonderful webinar. Dr. Arul Vasu, Professor in Zoology, thanks for giving me an opportunity to speak about COVID-19 from the aerobiologist perspective view of an aerobiologist. Dr. Karuna Sagaran, thank you, Karuna. Also, he is my student. I feel happy to say that my student is hosting such a wonderful meeting. Thank you, Karuna, for hosting such things. Yeah, let me get into typically the speech about COVID-19 and aerobiologist perspective. Right. Thank you, Dr. Arul Vasu, for introducing me and about my background. Right. Thank you. Yeah, before we venture into this, let me know what virus is. Of course, these things you might have learned in lower classes itself. Virus, again, we are fighting about whether it is a living being or non-living being. I'm leaving the thing to your own decision. You can call it as either living being or non-living being. If you're a chemist, you call it as non-living. If you're a biologist, you call it as living. Right. Shape is concerned. Why I'm giving the shape of the viruses This has a major role in aerial transmission of the virus. They are polyhedral in shape, helical, and complex shape. And again, related to size is concerned, just keep this in mind. The size is concerned, they range between 20 to 300 nanometers. It's not in micrometer even. Of course, few exceptions are there, which may go up to 1.4 micrometer, that is called as filoviruses, and mimiviruses, that is 400 nanometer. You can also call it as virus, right? COVID-19 is particularly a disease caused by the virus SARS-CoV-2, originated from Wuhan, China. It has infected nearly 213 countries, and it has been declared as a pandemic by WHO by the date of 30th January 2020. So far, it has affected 31.5 million population of the world. On fatality, nearly 0.97 million or otherwise 1 million people have lost their lives specifically for this disease. So towards the coronavirus is concerned, it is a record for any coronavirus which caused such a huge amount of fatality. Right. This is caused by SARS-CoV-2, a novel virus, which is similar in its structure related to SARS as well as MERS, Middle East Respiratory Syndrome causing virus. They all belong to a same family, coronaviridae. The symptoms are concerned: sore throat, dry cough, muscle and joint pain, fever, headache, formation of sputum, shortness in breath, fatigue, nausea, and vomiting. And in many of the cases, even it induces fatality when the people are immunocompromised. And of course, comorbid factors are also playing a major role in inducing fatality among the subjects. This is beautifully depicted, a three-dimensional view of the virus, which shows about the different types of protein, covers about surface protein, wall protein, as well as RNA and associated proteins. Again, here I want you to highlight the red arrow, which is stating the size, 10 nanometer scale right there. If you are totally taking it, it may go around 140 nanometers. So this particular virus is again spherical in shape, then the size at the maximum of 140 nanometer. So this is what the advantage is for any aerobiologist to think about. This particular virus is airborne. Prevalence of COVID. This is the data what we have collected from Worldometers by yesterday, 21st of September 2020. Nearly among the infected population, 22.42% belongs to US. Secondly, we are closely following them with 17.56%, followed by Brazil with 14.58% and Russia with 3.53%. A few other countries, Peru, Colombia, Mexico, South Africa, Spain, Argentina, they are contributing around 2 to 2.46% of infection among the infected population. Nearly 203 countries are sharing the remaining percentage of 28.6% of the population. So you may be knowing the infection, the seriousness of this particular disease causing infection in specified countries. Right. This particular data is again speaking about the number of cases recorded per million. I want you to compare with that of US and Brazil. India at 396 people per million. In US it is 21,000 odd, and in Brazil the same. If the same condition of the spread is recorded in India, what will happen? The projected count by this time is 2.9 crores of population might have been infected in India when compared with US. The same when we are comparing with that of Brazil, it is 2.94 crores. So this is what the projected infection as on today when we are following the path of either Brazil or US. Fatality is concerned, how far the disease is controlled. In US, it is 616 people per million. In Brazil, 643. Just think about the Peru, that is 948 people per million have lost their life. Right. India, it is only 64 people are losing their life. Even you might have heard that Central Ministry has stated 1.6% of fatality is recorded in India. Now, let us project what will happen when the same number of cases are being fatal when compared with US and Brazil. When we are comparing with the US population, by this time, we might have lost nearly 25 lakhs of population. That is 8.46, similar to US. whereas the population is concerned threefold of US taken into account. Nearly we may be losing around 25 lakhs of population in our country if the disease spread is as similar to that of US. When compared to Brazil, we might have lost nearly 8.8 lakhs of population. So this is what about the epidemiology of the disease is concerned. Right. For a common man, we are completely closed. We don't know what's happening. Even WHO is not giving us the clear data. What's happening? It's a lot of confusion. And we are not aware of what is happening. Right. From an aerobiologist point of view, we want to think about what is happening as an aerobiologist, whether it is airborne or not. So we want to probe, and we have started collecting the literature worldwide. How it is spreading? The saliva, the phlegm of the infected person when they are sneezing or coughing. Just you can see that the turbulent gas cloud is generating, and then millions of aerosol particles are generated when you are sneezing or coughing. Right. Towards the size of the droplet is concerned, when the droplet size is more than 100 micrometer level, it falls next to you. That is less than 1 meter. You might have heard, maintain a distance of 3 meters when the COVID disease has entered. By that time, we thought that the virus may not be air spread. Then later, when 50 micrometer diameter is there, then it reaches nearly 1.1 meter to 2 meters of distance. When the droplet nuclei is of less than 5 micrometer, it has the capacity to reach more than 10 meters. Right. More than 10 meters in the sense, nearly 33 feet distance it can able to reach when the droplets are less than 5 micrometer level. Now, let us go back to the virus size. It is spherical in shape and nanometer in size. Then think about the spread of this particular virus. The beauty of India. Do you know China, India, and South Korea, they are most popular country which is recording the spitting habit of the people. You might have seen this picture here and there, and you might have witnessed what the people do. Just think about the person who are infected with the virus when they are spitting on the roads and public places. What will happen? So even this contributes. When the phlegm or the saliva gets dried, then the particles present in those things, due to the air or wind blow, they become airborne and they can easily reach the atmosphere. Right here, you can see that the electron microscopic picture of the virus, which shows the range between 60 to 140 nanometer, and it is spherical in shape. In aerobiology, what we feel is whenever the particle is spherical in shape, it has the greater capacity to be buoyant in the atmosphere. So this particular virus is most probably or more or less spherical in shape, which has more buoyancy when compared with other organisms. Right. So for an aerobiologist, when we are viewing how it looks like, right, this is what we are looking into the atmosphere like. Right. Is there any research evidence stating that SARS-CoV-2 is airborne? Plenty of research has been carried out. Hare et al., they have said airborne transmission is based on the current, they have written a letter related in the journal Aerosol and Air Quality Research. Here, again, this is Moraska and Cow. What they said, airborne transmission of SARS-CoV-2 is there. It is reported. The world should face the reality. In reality, yes, it is there. So the world needs to get ready to face what's happening, right? So no backup stating that a virus is SARS-CoV-2 is not an airborne one. When we are taking the same case with that of SARS-CoV-1, what's happening? SARS-CoV-2, the shape spherical, the size 80 to 90 nanometer is the virus size of SARS-CoV-1. SARS-CoV-2 is concerned, it is again spherical in shape, size is 140 nanometer. This is what reported by Dormalen, and they are comparing the viability of the spores on surfaces as well as in the atmosphere of indoor environment. Here from Wuhan, Go et al., they have reported aerosol and surface distribution of SARS-2 in hospital wards. So from different parts of the world, we are getting, again, my student who is working in University of Florida, she has reported along with other, her professor, they have reported the virus from the air of a clinic within University of Florida Center, where they treat the people for COVID. Yesterday, she has published the other paper which states they are successfully able to collect the viable virus from the atmosphere. So yesterday her paper got published, second paper on it, right? Okay. Also, this many papers are published. WHO is not convinced, and they are not ready to accept it as a yabo. A lot of confusion was going on. Then what they said, nearly 239 scientists belonging to 32 different countries, they said, asked the WHO to accept that SARS-CoV-2 is yabo. Finally, what WHO did? Right. They have stated the mode of transmission of this particular virus as transmission of SARS-CoV-2 includes contact, droplet, airborne, fomite, fecal and oral route, bloodborne, mother to child transmission is there, animal to human transmission was also reported by WHO. So this is how the aerobologists fought for a scientific evidence to prove that SARS-CoV-2 is airborne. Yesterday, this was the latest report, CDC, they have accepted, yes, it is airborne. What they said? Changed its official guidelines to note that aerosols are thought to be the main way the virus spreads. This was accepted by CDC. So aerobologists have proved that the virus is airborne. But for your shock, today, what happened, you know? They removed the guidelines of CDC stating that it is airborne. Again, there is a little bit controversy going on, but they said the revised guidelines will be updated in their site as soon as possible. So this is what the status right now about SARS-CoV-2 being transmitted through air. It's a pity state of our nation. There is no report available from India so far. So with that, let me move on. Right. The principle of aerobiological pathway, how it is, the major steps involved, why we are convinced that SARS-CoV-2 is airborne. One, source is present. Yes. How it is being released? Through your sneeze and cough and spitting, everything. Flight, they have the potency to fly in the air because of their size and shape, and they deposit where they deposit. If they are going to deposit on your nasal region or otherwise any open area of human being, there is a good chance of them infecting the patient. That's it results in the impact. Impact again depends upon many factors. Underneath, I have stated environmental factors affecting each stage in the sense that is in general related to aerobiology. How a pathogen is concerned, there you can bring in about human physiological factors. Right. COVID-19, again, why we are confirming that it is airborne. Size in nanometers, shape, spherical to subspherical, penetration ability to deep lower respiratory tract to upper respiratory tract. So they have easily having their penetration ability from upper respiratory tract to lower respiratory tract. Source availability, yes, it is there. Buoyant in atmosphere, yes, their number, and they are also present in significant number. But this has to be confirmed by the way of study. So it is the duty of any aerobiologist to study about the presence of airborne SARS-CoV-2 either in indoor or outdoor. So far, there is no report available related to outdoor. So there is a plenty of lacunae for the aerobiologist or the microbiologist to study about the presence of virus specifically in outdoor. Right. Attributes, the generation of aerosol. Then indoor environment. We have beautiful indoor environment. Luckily, that is what the reason behind we getting smaller number of infections. Again, transport. In India, it is different. Let us see how it is differing and how we are able to contain the spread of virus. Right. Indoor air quality. What it means? The health of the air when you are in indoor. Either it may be the residential building or otherwise the commercial building. Right. Then the other factors like cooling coil, humidifier, condensate fans, unvented bathrooms, draperies, bedding, carpet serving as a fomites, then particularly central air handling systems. So this is what the major contaminating source for an aerobiologist is concerned. Let us get into the difference existing between the Western countries and India. In Western countries, how the air is circulated? By common air handling units. Either you are living in an apartment or any residential complex, there the air circulation or the venting system, air venting system is through a common circulatory system, which is maintained by air handling units. Now, just think if I am dwelling in a single unit, having the corona positive, COVID-19 positive, coughing or sneezing, then this goes back to the CHUs, then which can easily be circulated to the entire occupants of that particular apartment or residential complexes. So spread is widespread in those cases. But luckily, you see, here I have given a couple of photographs which states that they are looking onto the central air handling units as well as the air venting system and different residences. And underneath, what you are seeing is the single individual unit, that is AC in residences of India. So there we are lucky enough, and the disease is not spreading as it is in other countries. Now, why the government is closing still or not opening about the central systems like the malls, theaters, and even ITITS building, right? As an indoor air quality specialist, our concern is they are circulated with the central air handling unit system. So if the occupants are either coming to the malls, they are having a high reason to getting exposures to SARS-CoV-2. In theaters, again an enclosed unit circulated with air handling system, central air handling system, then their exposure level is high. Here, this sort of building, we used to call it as airtight building because no external air circulation is allowed. Completely the windows are closed. These type of buildings, you can see it in plenty of IT and IT enabled service buildings. No external air transaction is happening. So the illness related to these buildings is called as building related illness. In general, the experience what we have, my work experience in Singapore and US, that clearly says mostly they are getting respiratory allergy because of the infection caused by the microbes which are coming from air vents. Or you can also call it as sick building syndrome. And sneeze and cough of an infected person can easily spread the disease throughout the building. Thus, exposure level of the population is too high in those areas. So this is what our paper, which says about nearly 70% of the microbe what we have recorded in air vent is found in indoor air. Towards the transport, see in those countries, it is completely closed, air-conditioned system. So when there is a contamination, again, this particular virus is spread throughout the bus. When you are going to travel for nearly 4 to 8 hours, then exposure chances are more. So even for the people who are in India, avoid traveling in AC buses. The trains over there, you can see just the section of the train internal structure where the air circulation is similar to that of metro. So be careful even when you are traveling through metro, right? There is a chance of us getting even one individual if he is infected with COVID-19 and if he is liberating through the aerosol through cough or sneeze, then there is a chance of people, all the people who are traveling, the co-commuters may get infected with this particular virus. So chances are there. Then our own system of train, right? Then the traveling through flight, the ratio among the people, that is too high in Western countries. Whereas in India, what we do, nearly 70% of us are using either two-wheeler or three-wheelers. Usage of mopeds and bikes are plenty, and even the autos, what we are traveling, that is of open air circulation mode. So we have a beautiful structure where the disease spread is not much when compared with Western countries. Our own work on about the endomicroflora in AC buses, our count has exceeded that of outdoor. So it shows that the microbes are prevalent within indoor of buses. So whenever you are traveling, just think over it. Even with your car, just open your windows and travel. That is what the aerobiologist can advise. The other factors, this cannot be ruled out. I cannot give a single view related with the aerobiologist alone. The genetical system of the virus, they say that nearly 16 to 17 different strains of virus exist, and then the virulence of that particular strain is also different. Genetics of subjects about our immune system, how strong we are, and when we are immunocompromised, then the chance of getting infection is high. Food habits, this is a beautiful thing. Here in India, nearly 70% of the people are vegetarians, or otherwise usage of meat is too low when compared with, typically speaking, the data, we are consuming only 4 kilograms per capita per annum. Whereas in other countries, it is exceeding 80 kilograms per individual. So this is what the reason. Then usage of spices and condiments right here is extensively we are using in our culinary system. Then traditional system of medicine, we are already following this system. You might have heard about the Kabasura Kudinir, which is even you might have personally experienced what its effect is. This is what we have written as a paper in our own ENVIS newsletter, which is yet to be published by the issue of June 2020. Right. So far, we are fighting to prove that SARS-CoV-2 is airborne. Right. If it is airborne, how you can combat? See, controlling the other mode of transmission, that is through water or food, is easy simply by avoiding. Whereas if it is airborne, how you can combat? So that is a problematic one. Right. So what they're doing, I don't know. So what these people are doing, celebrating Diwali. So our concern is to know about the crackers and its influence on airborne microbes. Our study proved that nearly 60 to 70% of bacteria has been reduced during Diwali celebrations. Why? The reasons are plenty. Maybe by next few slides, I may be coming towards the reason. But in indoors, how you can avoid? By the way of conducting havans. In Western countries, it is called as smudging. Typically, in the language of chemists, you can call it as fumigation. In the language of nanotechnologists, we can call it as combating the airborne microbes using airborne nanoparticles. So you allow the nanoparticles to become airborne, then you can control. How is that possible? Right. The proposed theory. These are all non-published data of my research. Maybe a little later, I may be publishing it. Right. We have collected the suit of different plants. Here, what you are seeing is the same images of suits or the carbon nanodots, which are airborne. Here, the size range, what we have recorded is 200 nanometer to 400 nanometers of carbon nanoparticles. However, second peak was also been observed. Right. The FTIR analysis on the same suit, what it is showing, plenty of associated compounds in that suit. Right. So this is our imaginary diagram of nanoparticles which are suspended in the atmosphere due to the inducing havans or conducting havans or otherwise inducing carbon nanosuits to the atmosphere. What will happen? The carbon nanodots have beautiful properties like electrostatic attraction, van der Waals forces. Here, the red one, what I have mentioned in this diagram is representing the COVID-19 viral particles. The others are carbon nanoparticles. These things get coalesced. Then it makes the COVID along with that, grows in size of more than 5 micrometer. Then they can easily settle the air suspended particles to the floor. So physical removal is possible. Right. How the second principle, what we are speaking about is our FTIR has confirmed that they are possessing organic compounds which are reactive. These organic compounds can reach the spike protein and the wall protein of the particular virus, so that either protein may get denatured or a distortion of protein may happen, or these nanoparticles will get affixed with that protein and then they become inactive. So chemically they can act like that. Then the same nanoparticles, even few of the cyanide species of chemicals are also found, right? They are considered as reactive oxygen species. These reactive oxygen species have the penetrating ability of the wall layer. Then finally they will attack RNA of the virus. So thus biologically it can easily kill the viability or kill the virus. So the viability of this particular virus might have been lost. Right. So now you know what we have done. The prevalence of the disease, the airborne nature, what all the supportive evidence for the virus to be airborne. Apart from that, the indoor environment, how these indoor environments are playing a major role in spread of the disease. Finally, to combat the airborne virus, what you can able to do. So to conclude, want to make few recommendations. Really, we need to appreciate the lockdown implemented by the government. What they did, due to lockdown, we had an excellent time to get ready with medical associated things, so that the fatality has been completely reduced to 1.6% in India. Secondly, nearly 80% of the infected population have been cured, which is the highest for any country in the world. So we need to appreciate the government implementing lockdown at the specific correct time. Right. Beyond doubt, it is proved that COVID-19 virus is airborne. But the pity is there is no study emulating from India, so the government need to support the proposals which is coming from different aerobiologists or microbiologists or epidemiologists. First, also we say that we are second most infected country. There is no paper emulating from India, which is a sorry state. So the government needs to make it that they need to fund such work to find out. Don't stop it with COVID-19 alone. Expand the study for other microbes too. Right. The government needs to develop a policy to monitor the presence of different microbes. When you are logging on to the pollution control board system of any state, even including Central Pollution Control Board, you cannot see any data stating airborne microbes. You can have the data related with airborne chemicals, airborne physical particulates, but microbes are concerned, it is completely missing. So the government needs to think on this particular angle, and the microbes has to be taken into account. Then the study related to the prevalence of microbes in air needs to be taken. Before opening the lockdown, it is a duty of every individual building to monitor whether the presence of SARS-CoV-2 is present indoor. They need to monitor surfaces, air ducts, air vents, AH filters. It is easy just by taking swab sample, giving into the analysis for RT-PCR. They can easily find out. For such a huge building, if you are working with IT or ITES, just taking around 30 samples and spending around 90,000 rupees is not much money, because your employers need to be safe. So even the government needs to make it mandatory that such buildings need to get a clearance certificate from the government bodies. So mandatorily, the government need to bring in a bill stating that any building which is going to open is cleared of SARS-CoV-2. This also need to be expanded for other pathogenic ones. Then appointing IOQ specialists, indoor air quality specialists at different studies. It is not a single individual who can make the study. The involvement of aerobiologists, environmentalists, microbiologists, occupational hygienists, IAQ specialists, epidemiologists, medical council, pollution control board, environmental bodies, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Department of Science and Technology, and Department of Biotechnology. They need to come around and discuss about how to combat this, apart from that other microbial infection too. Then the study can also be taken as a multi-center study throughout the world, have a link with other countries where we can have a multi-center study so that an entire clear picture about the COVID-19 can be brought in, which can serve the humanity from future infections. With this, I'm signing off. Your queries are welcome. Once again, I thank Professor Munuswamy, Dr. Arulvasu, Dr. Janathanan, and Dr. Karunasagaran for giving me an opportunity to discuss about and to share about my views related with airborne COVID-19 has. Thank you, professors. Thank you once again.
Ajay Prakash?
Yes, sir.
I am Professor Munuswamy.
Yes, sir.
It is a really excellent comprehensive account on COVID, and you have explained source and its implication on human health, and justification of COVID through airborne, through various examples, the ways and combating the airborne diseases. Excellent. I'm really appreciate your comprehensive account, our knowledge on this. My humble request is that there are a lot of DST cell program exclusively for COVID-19. So, similarly, DBT network program. So you have to apply because you got some publication. You can
Yes,
apply and get some funding and try to establish. This is exclusively now funding only for COVID-19. DST coming in a big way. DBT network program is a multi-institutional. We can generate your funding with your publication. That is a good thing.
Sure.
Please. Okay, kindly look into that DBT and DST website exclusively
Sure.
COVID-19. Kindly do that.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. Thanks a lot, sir.
Karnasagar. Hello, Karna? Dr. Karnasagar. Hello? Dr. Karna? Karnasagar?
What happened? Dr. Arlos, what happened? Karna is there?
Yeah, that's why I'm asking, sir. Karna? Karnasagar?
He's there, sir, but I don't know whether it's audible.
No,
Karuna?
probably he's busy in a
Karnasagar? Mute பண்ணுங்க. Unmute. Mute click பண்ணுங்க. Hello?
I can type, so.
Dr. Uday Kumar, you are getting any questions on the chat box?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Dr. Karnasagar will take over the thing.
Yes.
Karna? Uday?
Oh. So it seems that his internet is slow.
Okay.
Karna? Okay, sir. Just 1 minute, sir. Check it.
Yeah.
Whether you can answer, hello?
Yes, sir.
You can say what is the status of now the lot of medicines have been used for COVID-19. But what is your opinion based on the literature? What is the medical treatment is possible, or social distancing and keeping a hygienic condition probably prevent the infection of COVID?
The second one is better because first of all we need to get away from the virus. So secondly, I'm sure that our own traditional system is working a lot because plenty of Ayurvedic clinics have proven that they are getting rid of. For an example, most probably we will be having our respiratory infection using Adasoda, our own medical system, Sundakkai Vattal, like the members of Solanaceae. They are helping a lot. That is steroid-based plant materials. So they are mostly helping us to getting rid of respiratory diseases, sir. So we can continue with that. Even Kabatura Kasayam is one such beautiful thing what we have.
Mm.
So that can be taken by a couple of times in a week.
What is for, I mean, reducing the lung infection? So they say if it is more than 40% and when they're given different grades, can you just highlight the infection of the lung and how we can combat with all Ayurvedic remedies? I think many things are now importing it, but
I'm blank on this, so I'm blank on this.
Yeah, because they say the respiratory, as you said, respiratory, the lung infection is more than 49 is probably lethal or fatal. So probably we have to look for this kind of, as you said, all Ayurvedic and Siddha. Probably they can impact instead of going for the molecular mechanism of using some medical allopathic medicine. You can use this one. That's all. Probably you can highlight and think on that because you are working on some herbal medicine, everything. Please try to work on that and try to complete make a proper project on that. Please.
Sure, sir.
Back. Dr. Arulwase has come back? No.
Yeah, he's there. His system is mute, so.
System. Oh, yes. Yeah.
Sir, coming, sir. Karna is on the line, sir.
Okay, please.
Sir, can you hear me now, sir?
Yes. What's the problem? Okay.
Sir, you got a couple of questions, sir. Shall I do the presentation, sir, screen sharing, because I'm unable to do the screen sharing over here, sir?
No.
Yeah, you can.
Uday, are you able to see this?
Yes. I'll stop this presentation. Yeah. Karna, do you want me to present anything?
Sir, no, sir. I will just present you the questions for you, sir. You can just look at it and answer them, sir.
Right.
Yes.
Uday, you can see the question?
Yeah. So whether all spherical shaped virus are airborne. When the source is through respiratory system and when you are exhaling, then there is a chance. But few viruses are there. For example, AIDS, it cannot come into air and you cannot call it as airborne. That is for Ajita Arikrishnan.
Next question.
Yes, sir.
Right.
So can you see the questions, sir, right now?
Question related to Jitendra.
I will read it out, sir. It would be better, I think, sir. I'm having some certain connectivity issues, sir. So there is a question from Yamuna Devi, sir. Actually, we humans having COVID-19 antibody in ourselves. Is this statement true? Is there an antibody within humans for COVID-19 already, sir?
Eminent immunologist is there, so he can answer rather than me. Right. This is due to an exposure level of a little bit of concentration of COVID. We may have antibody. Until we are exposed to it, we may not have innate immunity to that. Because we feel this as a new virus, novel virus. So innate immunity is concerned, I don't think it will be there.
Okay. The other question is asked by Mr. P.N. Singh, whether we can share homemade food and can buy sweets from sweet shop. Is there risk of COVID infection in such condition?
Nothing wrong, sir.
Okay,
because
sir.
you may be sure when you are taking homemade one.
Yes, sir. The other question is, if vaccine is there any vaccine for COVID-19 ready? If vaccine is ready, is there any kind of medicine available to cure COVID-19? This is the other question, sir.
So far as you are expecting, I'm also expecting the same. They are in clinical trials, so I'm not sure whether it can easily be implemented. So few vaccines are reaching stage 1 and few are stage 2. Till date, none of the vaccine has reached the stage 3. So we need to wait for more time.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. So, and then I would like to ask a few questions. Regarding this asymptomatic carriers, most of the people in India are mostly asymptomatic carriers. And
Right.
what is your comment regarding that, sir? Because we have a good immune system also. Since many are asymptomatic, it would imply that only, no, sir?
Yeah, they are saying even asymptomatic patients are also serving as a source. So although it is not showing any symptoms, but they are serving as a carrier of the virus. So there is an ability for them to spread the disease. Nearly super spreaders are also said, few of them are asymptomatic, where it is noticed when they are singing in an orchestra, they have spread up to 58 people. There is a report stating this.
Sir, actually, the last statement got broke up for me, sir.
Okay. Even while singing in an orchestra,
Yes,
the asymptomatic person who did singing in an orchestra, he has spread the disease nearly for 52 people. There is a report on this. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
So
Sir, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So the other question is, in your presentation, I found this having a microbial air quality parameter was quite interesting, sir. It is really a good idea, sir. But so far, how do you think, sir, it is feasible, sir? Because such an idea is really important, sir. Because many parameters are being overlooked by many of the pollution of the agencies, sir. Out of which microbes is also an important, sir, and it is seriously overlooked, sir. So what would you to make it practically happening?
Yeah, if you want me to be frank, I've joined the US company to learn about the indoor microflora. They have mold clearance certificate for every individual residences.
Okay, sir.
So they need to give the certificate whenever the rental people are coming into their apartment. So such a mandatory requirement needs to be brought in for India also. CPCB majorly they need to study about the distribution of microbes in the atmosphere of major cities and countries. It has to be the multi-center oriented one. Previously, by the year 1996 to 2000, we had an excellent team under Professor B.P. Vittal. That was All India coordinated project, which was supported by Ministry of Environment and Forest, where they spent the budget of 4 crores to study about the airborne fungi and pollen grades, that is allergens, of 20 major cities of India. That was coordinated by Professor A.B. Singh. So after that, nearly 2 decades have gone. There was no report so far. So that is a complete lacuna right now.
Oh, okay, sir. Okay, sir. Now, sir, regarding this, we are following some strict COVID-19 preventive measures, such as using hand sanitizers, hand wash, wearing face mask, and everything, sir. Despite following these measures, even to be in 100% aware state, it is quite difficult, sir, because I don't think that up to 100% mark an individual can follow these preventive measures, sir. So what would you advise and suggest, like making any changes in our behavior better than these things, sir?
Even spitting, that has to become out. I can see the people spitting even now, but the percentage has been reduced to the core. This is what the success of our government in bringing about the awareness. It's a great job done by the government. Even Swachh Bharat, where they have long been planned and they have beautifully implemented. Like that, I think maybe in due course we may implement it 100% until the awareness is completely brought in for 100% of our population. Then there is a report related with the cloth-related mask. It seems that they are not controlling COVID-19. So that has to be the research related to the potency of mask in masking the exposure to COVID-19 must also be studied.
Okay, sir. And finally, hello?
Yeah.
Finally, sir, I would like to have comment. there is based on current trend, if you see from the past, infection is also developing as our lifestyle is also developing. These two go hand in hand. Earlier there were not much medical invention and so on, so many scientific knowledges we were lacking, as which the infections are also lagging. There were not much infection with that, so sir. But as we grow up, infection also grow up. What would you comment on this pattern, sir?
That is what I said. The government needs to bring in strong, stringent measures so that the future infections can be prevented. So the continuous study is strongly recommended.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Thank you. Abhay, do you have any feedback from?
To all the participants,
I will.
attend link and please give your feedback regarding this webinar.
One minute. Okay.
Yes.
Karna.
Hello. Hello.
Anna?
Thank you so much, Dr. Uday Prakash, for your highly informative and important as well as sensitive topic, a pandemic situation, sensitive topic in the period. Starting from the virus, what is virus and what are the what is COVID-19, where actually originated and also infected countries. So what are the mode of action and prevalence? Everything is highly informative one. Thank you so much, Dr. Uday Prakash. Thank you. Also, thanks to all the participants. Thank you so much, sir. Professor Munuswamy sir, thank you so much, sir, for your support, sir.
Well done, well done. Keep it up. Very good. Very good information. Is in the speed of the hour. You have made a webinar on COVID. It's a pandemic era. Definitely, it's more useful to the student and some of the researchers. And you have done the work like ENVIS, gathering the needs of the people. You are disseminating the information of the things through webinar. Good luck. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Valuable time. Thank you, sir.
Okay. I will call you.
Yeah. No. Bye-bye.
Karna is over.
Yes, sir. We have still few questions coming through chat box, sir, actually. Okay, dear participants, any questions you have posted in the chat box will be replied through you to your mail. And kindly don't forget to fill in your attendance sheets and feedback forms given in the link. And you will be receiving your certificates probably within a week. So thank you everybody for attending this webinar on COVID-19. And I request your continuous support in our future webinars also. Thank you. So,
Thank you, sir.
The session is over, sir. We can exit, sir, actually.
Thank you. Well done.
Thank you so much.
Well done.
Okay. Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
Dear participants, I have posted the link once again. Kindly mark your attendance through the link.